Hi everyone, glad you could join us. Last week we were in Sandon and we showed you the power plant there. This week we're going to a ghost town called Cascade, and they built a power plant there around the turn of the century. It was shut down in 1920. Very historic. This is the first ever AC power plant that was designed by Nicholas Tesla, and it revolutionized the whole energy industry. After that, all the DC power plants switched over to AC. So this was the very first one. We've got to go underground into some tunnels and actually right underneath the whole power plant into the pipes where the turbines were, but not much mine stuff. Next week we're going to be going to Headley. Just a really awesome place there. So the French mines and the mascot, just massive, really historic. So join us next week for that. So I did a little drawing here. We're going to show you how this whole power plant worked, and we're going to take you around with the drone and show you everything that's there. Most of it's probably mental. You don't like dark places that are wet and you're claustrophobic. You have a bunch of phobias and stuff. It's not going to be the place for you. So here we are. This is the river where it comes down. This is where this big dam was built here. And this is the diversion tunnel that they blasted through the rock. And it goes to a trench. And then this is a tunnel. It goes underground, goes right underneath the railway, and it comes out here. And it starts another trench. There's a dam here. And then there's two pipes that come out of there, big steel pipes, goes into one, and then it flows to the powerhouse into the river. So this is the railway, and the railway bridge you'll see here goes along here. And this is the modern highway you see today going to Cascade. So basically that's how the power plant was all set up and how it worked. All right, so this is the rail trail here. I'm joined with Sandy, and we're going to have a look at where the powerhouse and the dam was. So this is the canyon here, and they fixed this up. It's a pretty cool walking trail. And the water's fairly high now, but it gets a little lower in the summer. There's never been anyone that's ever survived a trip down here in an inner tube, so it's not bad here, but you'll see in the drone it's pretty violent as you get further down. So looking upstream here, there was a dam here at one time, and so the dam went across the mouth there, and it diverted all this water, and all this water came through this gorge. It went through a tunnel that is over in this area. Now this part of the tunnel is blocked, but the mouth of the tunnel, or the outlet part, is still open, so we're going to go inside that tunnel and we'll show you where it is. Okay, so we're going to combine some of the drone footage here with some of the footage out on the ground here, which, well, the drone just looks so cool. Alright, so we're going over the railway bridge here, and this is where the dam would have been. So the dam was removed in 1920, I believe. And there's still some remains of it, not too much there. So now this is a really cool picture. This is an old historic picture of the dam as it was back when it was operating. So this was prior to 1920. This is when the powerhouse was operating. If you look on the very right side, you can see that's where the tunnels start, on the very right side of the dam there. And so this is going from the dam in modern day, and we're going to go right underneath the bridge here and show you this canyon. It's just a really fascinating canyon. So this bridge, you'll notice it's not the same bridge that's in that picture we just showed you. So this was a steel bridge. It was replaced. I'm not sure when, probably in the 20s, because see, it's all riveted. It's an old riveted bridge, but originally there was a wooden trestle bridge that they had there. So the kind of interesting thing about this canyon here is, and you know, it's kind of sad, but there's no warning or anything like that. And there's been people that inner tubed along the river there and have fallen into this canyon. You know, unfortunately, I don't know, the government doesn't put any signs up. There's signs up around the cliffs that warn people that there's a cliff, as if, you know, people can't see that. People that go along in that river, inner tubing along there, have been swept in that canyon, and none have ever survived. So I don't know, I think it's kind of a disgrace. But anyways, we're getting off of the track of our story, but beautiful canyon. This is a drop of 167 feet in a fairly short stretch of river. So there's a number of reasons why this power plant shut down in 1920. First of all, there was kind of a disagreement about power distribution in that area. There was another company that won the legal rights to sell power in the area. The other thing was there's very not much water in the wintertime. It's really low in the wintertime, even though there's quite a bit in the springtime and the summer. And they also had problems with ice. So they ended up bringing in another power line from Bonington that we'll show you a little bit later, back over 100 years ago to supplement power to here. And then they just end up shutting this down altogether and abandoning it, and all the power come from Bonington. So this power also supplied the smelter in Grand Forks, the Granby, and this is the end of the canyon here. If you look on the very right, just past the highway, where that square is, that's where the power plant sat. So it was dismantled about 20 years ago after the roof collapsed in 1997. So we got this real cool old picture, and you see where the old power plant was there, and you see where the line ran up there, and the old highway and an old highway bridge. So this is back when it was operating. That's a very old picture. It's probably at least 100 years old. And so like I say, all the bricks and everything got dismantled about 20 years ago. We're gonna jump in the drone here and continue back upstream. So you can see to the very left of the top there, that's the CPR line, so Rail Trail Today, and the gorge. And in between those two, there's that big trench and the tunnel and stuff. So we're gonna show you some of these features from the air, and we'll go down inside the tunnel and show you them on the ground. So if you look on your very left, it looks like there's a kind of a line going across the trench. That's the dam. And then we'll just keep flying a little further up, and we'll show you where the entrance to the tunnel is. So right in the very middle of the picture, that's where the tunnel. You can't see it that well, but we'll hop in the ground here and we'll show it to you. We're in this trench here where this tunnel starts. Well, we'll see if there's any water in here. Last time I was in here in the springtime, it was a little wet, but she's a hot day here, so we have to wade through a little bit of water. Ain't gonna kill us, eh, Sandy?
No, no water.
Let's see if it's dry or not. Oh, it might be. No, it looks like it's just damp. Nice and cool in here. So this is where the Kettle River used to run when they had the dam here.
Wow.
So this is your first mine. Well, it's not really a mine; it's a tunnel, but this gives you.
This is cool.
Smell the rats. Smell that smell? Those are that's rats. Pack rats. Gives you that skunky smell. So this would be similar to a pretty large mine tunnel. So this is where the whole river went in here. That water must have just been screaming through here. Nice and cool in here.
Very cool. What a difference.
Yeah. Warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Oh, that's nice. We don't have to get our feet soaking wet. Just a little damp. I'm just kind of hoping you'll slip and fall in the mud or something.
Oh, thank you.
Well, it'll be a good shot. Yeah. It used to be open at both ends. I'm kind of curious to see why it's not open at this end. It looked like it could possibly get through from the other end, but it would be tough. Yeah. There must have been some sort of structure here. I see some wooden pilings here. I don't know what it'd be for. Big timbers, big square timbers here, and some gobbing. What the purpose of it, I don't know. Maybe that's some kind of there might have been some kind of a walkway that ran alongside of it, maybe. That'd have been something to walk in here when the water was in here. Yeah. You can see it's...
So this thing would have been filled up full bore of water.
Yeah, the whole river came through here. I imagine the whole river did. Maybe in peak times there might have been too much water, it might have overflowed, but I think the whole... This is where all the water went into that big pipe that we saw down at the Penstock. That's not going to go much further. You can come to the end if you want, but you don't have to. I just want to have a look and see why it's got plugged. Because it used to be open. Oh, I can see a rat. You want to see a rat? At least it's not mine water. It's nice and clean.
Where is he?
See him up there? It's right in the very middle there, it's moving around. It's pretty big. Scamper away. There he is.
Now I see him. Oh, I was looking way down.
Yeah.
There he goes. Just got a glimpse.
So I'm kind of curious as to why this is closed now. It almost looks like it was blasted shut. It used to be wide open. Through there a little bit of daylight, and a little bit of light there, so. But there's big rocks there, so you can get through there. It looks like they took a piece of equipment and filled this in. For what purpose, I don't know. I mean, if this is to keep the public safe, I can't see anything. This is safer than walking along the edge of, of that canyon. I mean, there's nothing loose in here or anything. But
We're only in about, what, 100 feet?
oh, yeah, more than that. Probably could be about 200-300 feet to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing unsafe about this that I know of. Well, I mean, I suppose one of them slabs could fall, but it doesn't seem likely. Hasn't fallen in 100 years. So the reason we went in here looking at this is because my buddy Mike bought the other piece of property at the very bottom of the falls. We're going to show it to you. And so we're just talking about how this power plant operated. And I'd like to share some of the history about this power plant. And the power plant was the first AC power plant ever constructed. So Nikola Tesla, he was the one that had this theory about alternating current, which completely replaced DC power everywhere. Now there's no DC power anywhere. It's all AC, alternating current. So pretty historic powerhouse. And what happened was the reason it got shut down is just because there just wasn't the water flow they expected. You know, quite a lot of water in the springtime, but in the wintertime, there's very little water flowing through here. They had to get power from another source because they need a lot of power year round. It just wasn't reliable enough. So unfortunately, they spent lots of money, but they never used it much. Seems kind of crazy, but that's what happened. See, now I used to think this is where the turbines were because it's dammed right across here and there's just kind of a little hole at the bottom, but it wasn't. And I think, you know, there is like two big holes where the water went down through here. But I'm thinking what this was some kind of a trap. So had those, see those bolts and stuff? So they would have some kind of a screen if there was logs and debris and stuff. They didn't want that going through the turbines. So I'm thinking that's what it was, some kind of a gate where they could shut it off, or maybe screens, maybe they had some screens or something where they could catch the crop or something like that. But that definitely wasn't where the turbines were. This is where those big two twin pipes that fed the powerhouse started, right here. So what they did is, the reason this dam is here, because they had to go from the trench to two pipes. So obviously there was probably a screen here also, but so years ago I guess they must have taken and cut all the steel out of here, salvaged it, so the pipes are gone except right by the powerhouse. Yeah. So, okay, so they had a gate, yeah, so there was, well, you can see it kind of slid there, so there was a gate there. They also had a gate where they could shut it. That's kind of interesting. Look, there's a window there. Huh. Yeah, that's kind of neat. Looks like a jail. There's a bit of a window there, so they had some kind of a crane where they could they could direct it into just one of these pipes or the other, I guess, for maybe a screen or for some reason, I'm not sure why. Huh, that's kind of interesting. Well, a guy could take that little door out of there. That would be a pretty historic thing to keep. It'd be hard to get out. Yeah. A little tricky. I don't know how spectacular that would look. Not many souvenirs left of this historic power plant, but a few. And there's, oh yeah, so there's some kind of a screen there. Filter stuff out. Alright, so all those mysteries are all solved. And big gate just came up and down so they could direct the water into the right or the left tunnel. And so from here on, all the way to the powerhouse, it was those big steel pipes that transfer the water down. Oh, and one's actually smaller than the other. If you look at the right one, it's larger than the left one is. Is this the way to the powerhouse? That's not a rat. No, what kind of snake is that? I know they got rattlers here. That ain't a rattler. That's a bull snake. Yeah. Anyhow, so so this big pipe ran along here. That big concrete structure we saw, that's where the pipe starts. So that's where it dammed off and the pipe starts. Obviously, I don't know why I never thought of that before. So there was a big pipe here that went overground at one time, and we're gonna follow it along. On the way to the powerhouse, we find something else that's pretty interesting. This is the old power line that went to Bonington. So this dam here didn't produce enough power to feed the smelter in Grand Forks. So they brought this line up to Bonington. And it ended up being the death of this dam, because then them guys ended up just selling all the power to the town of Grand Forks and stuff. And then the dam shut down. This is what remains of the powerhouse today. There's that big concrete slab, and another thing that's really cool though is this big pipe, and that's where the water came into the turbines. So this is a pretty massive pipe going up, and that's where the whole river come through this pipe at one time. And there's a big manifold here, and we'll show you where it splits off into the 4 turbines. We believe the turbines could possibly still be here. And what we're going to do is we're going to sneak down into here. There's a hole. And we're going to jump right inside here. And let's see if we can see those turbines. I think they might still be there. We can squeeze in there, I think, eh? Alright, so we're inside this Penstock. Oh, isn't this cool? Yeah, there might be some rats in here. Yeah, that's all full of silt and rock. Smell nice in here.
Cold in there, eh?
Not bad, no. It just gets smaller and smaller as you get this way.
Tapers down, and there should be a Y. You got a flashlight?
No, just a light from my camera. Oh, and it stops right here.
It stopped?
Yeah, it's blocked off right there.
Where it reduces down to 3 foot?
No, right there. Goes back underneath there, and there's a big steel plate there.
Shit.
Yeah. One time went past there, but it doesn't go past there now. Oh, pretty dusty in here, though.
You're not even to where it tapers down?
No, past that. There's a bunch of old bricks in here. What do they say?
You don't see a Y in there, eh?
Well, there's a bunch of Ys there. It tapers down. There's a whole bunch of, but they all stop. They go underneath. It's filled underneath. There's gravel in there. Lots of old bricks here. There, see. They don't say nothing. They're just plain old bricks. You can almost climb up there. Oh, that's quite something. Alright, so here's this last, this is where this pipe ends right here. And this is just a big manifold that gets smaller and smaller. And so there was 4 turbines underneath here. And this is where the river ended. So we think those turbines are actually still in here. So we want to have a look, because there will really be no way to get them out of here after they shut the power plant down. Okay, we're down at the river here, and these are the outflow. You can see they're concreted up where the outflow, the water came out of the turbines underneath where the powerhouse was. So the guy that owns this, he'd like to maybe try to get underneath there and see if we can see these turbines. As you can see, they're silted up from the other side. Something else that's also kind of weird, there's like drain pipes of the outlets for some reason. 2 tunnels here. I don't know if it had anything to do with the power plant or not, but we'd like to have a look and see if we can get into them. Could be a mining thing or something else, I don't know. We're on the other side of the river here and had to check out those adits, obviously, so got a couple guests there we kind of scared off. They're Canada geese and they have their little babies there, getting figured out. Not making good headway going downstream there because there's a big backhead here, but anyway, it's not here to look at geese. Let's have a look at these two adits. Now we're going down this log. Hopefully we won't fall off the damn thing. And we'll see if this is actually an adit or what's going on here. I don't know if we'll be able to get in there. It looks like there's lots of water there. Let's have a look. I don't even have any lights. Yeah. Okay. Oh, there we go, eh? It's just a natural little crevice. It looks like an adit, but it isn't. It's completely natural. Except for that propane bottle. I don't think that propane bottle's natural, but that's cool, eh? Well, that's the same thing with the airplane. Lots of times you're flying over areas and you think you see something that looks like an adit, and you get there and there's really nothing there. Well, standing on the bridge here, we're looking at the gorge looking upstream, so yeah, that's not anywhere you'd want to go on an inner tube.